in what we call it change management, you have to understand the normal behavior for any person, for any stakeholder regarding, let's say, the major changes that you can make in their work field. I have a good exercise for this. If you want to try it, to understand the nature of human being belong to changes, I really recommend that in 1 minute, try to do this exercise with me. I just need you please stand up. Would you please just stand up for 1 minute? I will make sure that at the end in 1 minute, I want you to understand the nature, human behavior regarding change. I want you to choose a partner with you in this exercise. Okay, just choose any other partner, please. I want the taller guy to raise your right hand, just like this. Okay, and I want the other guy, no, just like this, beside your chest, please. Okay, and I want the other guy to raise your left hand and put it together. Okay, just like this, please. Okay. Stand beside each other and put your hands like this, please. Okay? I want the taller guy now to start to push the hand for the other guy. The other guy is up to you to choose your feedback or to your reaction. Just start to push slowly. Start to push. Keep pushing. Keep pushing. Keep it. Keep it. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Please sit down. My question, does anybody doesn't get, or let's say, how many of you find a resistance from his partner? Please raise your hand. Raise your hand, please. Okay? So it's a normal behavior to find a resistance based on any change. Don't think all over the time that because I have a good idea, a good program, that everybody will accept it. No, it doesn't work like this. Each one of us, he's got a limit, his own limit, to accept a change. Even if it's a good one. There is a limit. And you have to differentiate between the 5 levels for people to deal with changes. I don't want to go in details, but I will just try to summarize it to you. We have what we call it the risk acceptance level on the highest degree. We call it the risk takers. Those people accepting changes easily because they cannot live with a routine work environment. And that's the main reason why they're looking for changes. Not because they like that much to have more changes all over the time, but they cannot live with a routine work environment, with something repeated and there is no new issues and there is no new ideas all over the time covering their daily work. And that's why they are easily can accept changes and can take the risk associated with those changes. And we have also other types. I can summarize it in 5 types. I will talk about them just in a summary level. The second type, we call them the people that they can accept changes if it's work with them. So they are just accepting a justified changes. And also we have the third level, people with what we call it the silent majority. And this is the big challenge for you in program management. This silent majority, by the way, the first 2 kinds, the maximum percentage for them in the community for any program management framework, not more than 25%. The third type itself, covering at least 50% from your community, the majority silent people. Those people don't care that much about the change, but they have a big doubt, high level or high degree of uncertainty. So the first 2 types, it's easy for you to deal with them. You just need to justify the benefits, to let them understand how far you can help them and what exactly your expectation from their side they can support you. But the third type, for those people, they need to make sure about what is going on in the future. Because the uncertainty here covering their behavior. They cannot participate with you or to give you their best efforts if they are not sure or confident that much about the result or the impact of your program. So here is a big challenge. And by the way, if you can convince the third type of the stakeholders, it will be easier to you to deal with the other 2 types. The other 2 types, the fourth type, talking about the people that they are not that much interested in your program based on misunderstanding of your objectives of the impact for your program, and also they are not interested that much of the end result in your programs because they have a wrong or misunderstanding of the framework entirely. So what you need to do, you have to correct your information. You have to make sure about active interactions and good communication from your side with them in order to correct or to make what we call it a positive paradigm shifting for their ideas. The last time, the big challenge. People with conflict of interest. And I find many program managers, they are thinking about stakeholders only in two types. Who's going to be with me and who's going to be against me. It doesn't work like this. You have to differentiate between different types. Definitely, the people with high degree of, let's say, conflict of interest, it's not easy for you to gain their support.
My question is, you talked about, I captured something in the beginning of your presentation where you were saying that we need a leadership committee, which is key, and I totally agree with you.
That's right.
And you said as well that the maximum resistance is, can you hear me?
Sorry, we have a technical problem. Why? Is it okay now? Thank you.
Shall I repeat?
It's okay.
Or carry on the question. So then you said the maximum of resistance in the program is in the initiation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Simple?
Same voice. Okay. So you said initiation phase of the program, we need more commitments from the leadership, which is leads to the whole program. However,
That's right.
the focus in initiation of the program. Now let's be practical and pragmatic. We have a program. I'm going to take an example. We have a program of implementing a PMO or P3O, whatever. We're starting the program, and when we're starting, we're going to come with the framework, and when we start applying this framework to the project management community, we will have a lot of resistance. In the beginning, maybe they will accept. They will say, fine, okay, with good opportunity, etc., etc. When we give them the framework on the table, and that's the real fight will start. Because people they say to you, hang on a minute, I'm not happy with this, etc., etc.
Yeah.
And based on our experience, we've got more fights during the implementation, deployment of now, maybe I'm misunderstood the initiation phase, not the initiation phase, but it is my concern. Where we need really the commitment of the leadership.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. It's a very, very, very important question. Why? Because normally I find people, as you mentioned, they think about the effective leadership and effective, let's say, change management. We need it in the implementation more than any other parts in our project management and program management framework. But actually, based on prior experience and different cases, we find out that the big challenge, even not only in project and programs, in political. Nowadays, you find many political cases, it's belong to this part. Why people fighting the new president in the first 100 days? Why every time you find a guy or a program manager try to develop or to introduce a new program, people will try to fighting against him on the first month more than any other time. Why? Because professional people, they understand that if your achievements will become tangible, will become clear, you remember the major silent majority that representing 50% or more, they will stay in your side. And it will be hard for them to fight against you. I cannot say in implementation we don't need to use this effective change management and leadership. We need it. But we need it more in the initiation. Why? Because anyone with high degree of conflict of interest with your program, they will make their best efforts to stop you. And that's the answer why people in the, let's say, that they are not agreeing with any idea, with any program, with any even political decision. They make their maximum of, let's say, conflict, the maximum degree of resistance at the beginning. You remember this graph in the book about the stakeholders' influence? You will find this graph, the curve of influence for different stakeholders on the maximum degree, at the initiation stage, try to go back and see this graph. It's very important. That will explain for us the behavior of the influence for different stakeholders in the program and project management life cycle. You'll find the highest degree on the initiation stage. If you can, again, succeed to pass this stage, it doesn't mean there is zero resistance later on, but it will be easier to you. Why? You will maximize the people that supporting you, and you will try to get more percentage from the majority silent stakeholders in the framework by doing good and effective management leadership and effective change management process. And that's why we need it more in the initiation stage. And this is something we need to consider. Otherwise, you will find different effective and professional program and project managers, they fail early in their assignments and services. And by the way, they care about what we call it quick wins. Please write it down if you are not familiar with this terminology. Quick wins, it will help you a lot about this. Why? Because in quick wins, we are looking for what exactly the small achievements that we can do at the beginning of our program management framework to gain the trust, to increase the support from different stakeholders in our framework, to make sure that they will be in our side, not with the majority silent side or against us. I hope this somehow will clarify this point. You remember in the Stephen Covey framework of the 7 effective habits for highly effective people, the 7 habits for highly effective people, he mentioned at the beginning, begin with end in mind. I find out that at the initiation stage, maybe some professional people will underestimate the importance of this successful management for this stage because it's easy somehow, because there is no that much questions and clarification, because as you mentioned, it's not clear for everybody. But it doesn't mean that they don't have uncertainty about future, but they don't know how to declare their effective questions early, so they keep their questions later on, and you will find it in the implementation and in the later stages. I agree with you. But you can eliminate or kill the issue from the beginning if you have a clear and effective and good understanding for the high priorities from the beginning. In this case, you will maximize the support for your side to let this majority, stakeholder silent majority, step in your side, not against, because they have a degree of uncertainty. They are keeping silent. Why at the beginning? Because they don't know how to declare their questions and main issues. And that's why they are still waiting to the right moment to declare their points. And again, how far you can manage this stage effectively, it will ease your trouble later on. But if you keep everything for later stages, you will find more challenges. I will negotiate anything more with you in the break. Thank you. Any other questions?
Yes.